Hey there and welcome back. And what I want to talk about in this video is some of the action that I took. Again, we're still kind of focusing on the first chapter about what marketing has done for me. Now, I want to go a little bit more into detail about what it actually did and one of the main reasons how I came up with that chapter and that idea. In 2012, in 2012, I had got myself involved in Russell Brunson's .com Secrets X course. And, I was going through and I was here and there and I was all over the place. And what I did was, again, take action. Okay, I took action and I ended up winning his trip, long story short, and I went to Kenya with him. And one of the things that I was able to do with this trip to Kenya is that I actually brought over 30 lacrosse sticks, give or take. I maybe had 35, 40 or whatever. But I had at least 30 lacrosse sticks in two huge, like hockey bags. I had some lacrosse balls. I had some other random sports equipment. And, I had a bunch of teaching supplies, and I was able to bring this over. And, it was just one of the, most humbling experiences to be able to go over there and do that and, see what people actually had available to them as far as the resources. Now, I had spent time as a Peace Corps volunteer in the Solomon Islands, and I knew that, in other developing nations that, people don't always have the things we had. When I would go to the store to get supplies for, a 10-week time because I wouldn't have transportation back and forth between my site and the capital, I would go in and say, okay, it's time to get a thing of toothpaste. If you think about going to get toothpaste here, you've got millions of different varieties. And over there I say, okay, well, do I get the Colgate or do I get the Colgate? There wasn't really much to choose from. So, you kind of take a lot of things for granted. And, after being gone from that situation for, a dozen years, I came back in the year 2000 to then go in 2012 to Kenya. Again, it was just, so refreshing to be able to do that, see some of the smiles on the kids' faces because we know that we're making a difference. And you could be the one that helps make a difference as well. By your purchase of this course and the training in my book, you actually are making a difference because a portion of the profits will actually be going to World Teacher Aid and to help build up another building and another school there. So, again, it was all about taking action. So I want to talk a little bit about today is one of the things that I did and took action on, again, in a totally different niche. And this is where it fits you perfectly because you might not want to get totally involved in basically immerse into the marketing idea. I love getting into marketing. That's my thing. I love learning about all things marketing, and then I actually apply it not only in marketing, but I also apply it into the lacrosse field and into the lacrosse niche. So a couple years ago, I took a sheet of rules. I don't even know where I got it from. I took a sheet of rules. It's 50. It was called the 50 Commandments of Lacrosse. And every year, I would always give it to my players at the end of the season and say, here, look, this is a basic list of rules that will help you develop into, a better player and a better teammate, through mindset, skill set, in many other ways. So I turned it into a website eventually. A couple of years went by, and in late 2009, early 2010, I turned it into a website. And I had my first option, opt-in page, and there was an option to upgrade and buy a product that I had. But basically, they were delivered 5 of the commandments a day for 10 days. So it was a 10-day autoresponder series. Again, if you're not familiar with what an autoresponder is a software that when people opt in, anytime you put your email in, which is basically how I'm delivering these emails to you, they're going to get an automated series of emails. And we can also send an updated broadcast whenever I want at a moment's notice, or I can send them in advance, 10, 15, 100 days, whatever. You also got access to my Magnetic Sponsors newsletter. I probably have 50 to 70 emails already populated in there that you'll get on a daily basis that will give you some training, give you some courses that you can succeed with, amongst many other things. So anyways, I would work at some tournaments, I guess you could call them. And in the summer, I'd set up this, 10 by 10 tent. I'd go by myself. I'd fill up the van. I didn't really have any help. My wife was busy, doing this. She was staying with the kids. She didn't want to bring the kids there. It'd be, hotter than hell out there. Again, excuse my language here, but it'd be really hot. I'd be sweating and dripping, and I'd be setting up this tent by myself. I'd get some help from the other vendors, but I would run it all day. My daughter would come and help me out during the day, and at least I'd get a break to go to the bathroom or, to check out and talk to some the other people there. But I would go out there and I would be going and I'd spend a full day and, I'd sell a couple products. Maybe I'd break even on the cost to actually set up the booth. But I kept giving people my business card and saying, make sure you sign up and, get your free 50 Commandments of Lacrosse. But people were saying to me, oh, it'd be great because I'd give them an idea of what some of the commandments were. and they'd say, oh, it'd be great if it was a book. It'd be great if it was a book. It'd be great if it was a poster or stickers. Now, I finally took action, and again, also in the same summer as winning the contest with Russell Brunson, I actually turned it into a book. So my first book that's officially mine, you got the Writing with Gurus book, which is full of different authors. This one is full of my stuff. So it's called The Commandments of Lacrosse, and I use the same company called CreateSpace to make this. And I'm going to have some other videos and trainings that will actually show you the back office of my CreateSpace account and just show you how you can use that to build your business. So I took the book. Again, remember, it was just one sheet of 50 commandments, so basically 50 lines of information, and I turned it into, let's see what I got here. I have 59 pages, plus I have a couple pages in the beginning too, just some background information, disclaimers, introduction, so on and so forth. So over 60 pages of content. It's a nice little easy book that I put together. In addition to each of the bits of information, I also put a paragraph of my strategies, my tips, my techniques of how they can implement those into their game. Again, this is for the game of lacrosse, and it works for both boys and girls lacrosse, so I made it so that it fits both. Now, if I wanted to, I could have made one that was independently for females and one that was independently for males. I wanted to be able to have it for everyone so that I could keep it simple at this time. Again, that whole idea, take action, revise later, I can always change this later on to fit specific niches and specific groups. I could have the commandments for, youth lacrosse, commandments for college lacrosse. I could go, many different ways, and you can do the same thing in your niche. You might be interested in, any other things. Maybe it's cooking a certain food. Maybe it's, shopping and finding deals. Maybe it's using coupons. It really doesn't matter what it is. You can put yourself in my feet, or excuse me, my shoes, I guess, walk in my, follow my footsteps, I guess. I'm forgetting what the phrase is. But the whole point is you can take action. You've got ideas in your mind. You've got information that you've had before. Maybe you have a PLR product, which stands for private label rights. Maybe you got, other scenarios. Maybe you can resell it. If that's the case, maybe follow up with the person just to see if it's okay if you can actually print their product. But I've done this with a couple books. And again, two of the ones you may have taken advantage of were Mike Filsaime's Butterfly Marketing 3.0 and Benjamin Jake's The Execution Factor. Both of those I use CreateSpace because I have rights to their book and I can print them, but I also put some of my content and information on there as well. So if someone buys it through Amazon, my contact information is there so they can eventually get to me. They don't always contact me because the situation is a little bit different, but I can help you with that scenario as well. So I just wanted to share that information with you today, that it's doable. Okay, I'm, again, a full-time science teacher, but I do have summers off, so I waited, and in the summer, I finally took action because, again, at the end of my season, I said, you know what? I've heard too many people tell me what I should do in this regards about putting it into a book, so I finally did it. I kept thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it and how I want to present it, and I finally did it. Okay, I just found, an image. I manipulated the image and changed the images a little bit, and I, basically did the whole thing from scratch all by myself. I didn't outsource any of it, except for, of course, the printing. The printing is outsourced. I'm not running it in my house, but it's high-quality printing, assuming you got some high-quality images. If you have low-quality image, of course, the printing is going to come out a little blurry and, kind of pixelated. So my first couple runs, I realized I had some poor images, so I had to go through and do it again. But a relatively inexpensive way to build your business. And again, I am building my business. I'm building my subscriber list, and you being one of them, I got you in because I wanted to give you something free. So I've often contemplated, doing this. Right now I just have it for sale for about $20. That includes a copy as a digital version and also copy mailed to you, and then some training videos in the backside as well. So what you need to do right now, again, is take some action, get out there, try to figure out what you're passionate about and maybe what you want to write a book about next. So I'm going to have more information again on CreateSpace and how you can access that. It's kind of a bonus to what you actually see in the book, but it is very integral because that's what I use to print my Writing with Gurus book. It's what I use for this Commandments book, and it's probably what I'm going to use for a while because you can get out there and you can start doing this today and start selling it on places like Amazon or just selling it on your own website with ease. Again, so look for those videos on CreateSpace, and if you have any questions, again, feel free to email me, DaveGardner@MagneticSponsors.com, or you can send stuff to the contact form which you see below. Okay, look forward to that next video, and again, as always, take action now. You can always revise it later. Thanks.